25 years down the road, 72 lakhs were made. A similar story is for commercial vehicles. A similar story, as you can see, is for passenger cars. What is driving all this? In context of automobiles, which is partly durables, I would put 4 key factors. One I have talked about, growth in GDP and in personal disposable income. As you can see, the personal disposable income within 10 years, from 2000 to 2010, has gone up from 17,000 to 40,000. And that's the geometric progression in disposable income I'm talking about. Growth in working population. India has the largest numbers of younger people, less than 35 years. And for the next 25 years, the same situation is going to continue. India will continue to have the largest population of young people. So what happens when you have young people and when you have disposable income? You add a third thing to it, what I would call urbanization of minds. Is people living in rural areas are thinking urban. And I think both Mr. Modi mentioned about it, is how can I have urban mindset with a rural heart. And Dr. Sam Pitroda also mentioned about it, how the telecom revolution is leveling everything. Leveling incomes, leveling geographies, and leveling this thing. So what is actually it is doing is, it is creating an urbanization of mind, it's urbanization of attitude. And you can understand if the urbanization of attitude is where you have young population, naturally those people would want to improve their quality of life instantly, today, not tomorrow or day after. And if they have personal disposable income going up, they will make it happen. No force on the earth can stop that. And that is where the country is leading to. But yes, for them to consume services and goods either have to be brought to their doorsteps or they have to go to goods and services. And that's where the fourth element comes, and that is the road infrastructure. India has embarked upon a great thing of growth in infrastructure, especially of the road. Unfortunately, there have been some setbacks in the last few years, but I have strong hopes that it will be taken up again with the fervor with which it all started. Road infrastructure has changed the whole face of the US in 1950s. The US economic resurgence came, of course, from the after effects of war, but what General Eisenhower did in building roads. The economic resurgence of Germany, or Japan, or Korea, or currently China is coming. One of the critical factors is creation of roads, because roads bring the services and goods to the doorsteps. And can you imagine roads being connected to villages of 500 population in plains, 1,000 population in plains and 500 in hills? A person has to travel, say, 4 hours through fields, on bullock cars, on bicycles, or on foot to reach the nearest motorable road. And therefore, he might make one trip in a month to the nearest town. What happens if the road comes to him? If a motorable road comes to him, he will go 4 times a month. His family will go 4 times. Now, can you imagine 1% trip becomes 50% trip for the whole family. It's mind-boggling. If you were to just close your eyes and think about it, and I'll come to that, it is looking at all this what we did in Tata Motors. And then you will begin to understand the context in which we did things. Of course, this is, I would say, again, somewhat of a repetition, common sense, that entry of global players, increasing collaborations, partnerships, increasing focus on quality and efficiency and all that would be, I think, norms for anybody operating here. So Tata Motors, in context of the economy changing, in terms of consumer changing, the mindset changing, and the competitiveness changing, naturally had to think back and to work out its own frame for the future. And it is to tackle this frame, then you will need to have managers to take it forward. So what were the four key things? One was offsetting cyclicality. You know, we were a truck manufacturer, we were a commercial vehicle manufacturer, and commercial vehicle actually the whole auto industry is cyclical industry. It goes up for 4 or 5 years, comes down next 2 years. So cyclicality is part of the DNA. And trucks have greater amplitude of cyclicality. That means they'll go up by 50% and come down by 70%. Now you can understand when everything was protected, we didn't see any cyclicality, but as you open up, you begin to see that cyclicality. And therefore, if you are in a cyclical industry, what do? You got to de-risk the business model. You got to reduce the break-even points. And you got to have a mix, a portfolio of products and geographies which will lessen the impact. So now it becomes very commonsensical. So what will you do to lessen those contexts and therefore need to go into more markets where you can have phasing of growth and downturns. You can go into more segments of automobiles where there is less cyclicality or no cyclicality. And if you were to combine all that, you reduce the risk of the business. So while looking at quality and other things, this I would say was the key determinant of our strategy going forward. Of course, as expected, these would pose several human resource challenges because suddenly you are faced with this, so you have insufficient pool of leaders to lead the growth. You have problem of talent retention and acquisition because there are too many opportunities coming. People don't want to be working in the manufacturing plants. People have got different priorities, young people. They don't want to come into brick and mortar industries. So you face a very different kind of challenge. How to acquire talent and how to retain talent. You want people with international mindset. So far we have been only dealing with India. How do you go and compete in an international market? It requires a different kind of mindset and training. Adaptability to diverse cultures. As it is in India, there are so many cultures. And we have seen in Tata Motors itself. The culture in Jamshedpur is very different from culture in Pune. As if they are two different worlds. Now you can understand when you go to Korea, you have never thought of that kind of culture. When you go to Thailand, different kind of culture. When you go to Spain, different kind of culture. When you go to UK, different kind of culture. And therefore you need to adapt yourself to those cultures. And to be competitive, you need to be innovative. Innovation, as you know, is